Hello everyone, welcome to Snowpro Group. In this video, we will talk about stored procedure in Snowflake scripting. In Snowflake, we can write a stored procedure by using many languages such as JavaScript, Snowflake scripting, Scala, or Java. But in this video, I'm only concentrating how to write a stored procedure using Snowflake scripting. Some situations where pure SQL, straight SQL cannot do the work. So we might need to have the loop the records in order to achieve something. Or you might need conditional statements within the logic. So that scenario will go for the procedure. Not to handle the exceptions and error handling and branching the code. Okay. For example, block within the block, calling one procedure, one logic from another logic. So those kind of things will go for the procedures. Also, like dynamically creating SQL statements, creation of the tables dynamically, and inserting data into them dynamically. So those kind of purposes also will go for a stored procedure. When you want to keep logically related code under one roof, then also we'll go for the stored procedure. This is a syntax of a basic stored procedure in Snowflake scripting. So here I am creating a stored procedure to calculate the age by passing the date of birth. Create or replace procedure name, and I'm passing p underscore dob as a parameter with the data type. So this is nothing but the data about I'm passing to the procedure, and I'm expecting to return value as varchar. I'll tell you why I'm going with the return value as varchar, and it is in the language of SQL as declared, and it's a local variable has been defined v underscore age as a number data type, and v underscore age is assigned with date difference between the date of birth and the current date, and extracting the year from date diff function. And what it will do is ultimately it will take this date of birth and the current date, and it will return the number of years between the date of birth and the current date. And that will be stored into v underscore age variable. So here what I'm returning is I'm giving some custom message, your age is, and then I'm passing this v underscore age is a number data type. So I'm doing the conversion to varchar, casting the number to the varchar data type and returning entire this message as a return value. Okay, so I'll pass some date here, date of birth here, and see what it will return. So let's execute first. Let's compile this procedure. So I'm opening the new worksheet, pasting the procedure here, procedure code. So I'm compiling it. You can see that pro age successfully created, and then let me execute. So this is the execution of the procedure here. I'm passing an argument as a date of birth as an input, and if I execute this one, you can see that your age is 39. Okay, so let me add a little more to it. I'll put the years also here, right? So again, compile this. Successfully compiled, and I'm executing it. Okay, so your age is 39 years. So let's change this to 93 and to this to 1st Jan 27th, and try to execute it again. You can see that 29 years here. In this procedure, what I'm doing is I'm trying to get some value from the database table. So here, what I'm doing is I'm passing the employee ID as an input, and returning employee name as an output. So when you see here, creator replace procedure name and input parameter as p underscore empid. It's a number data type, and returning again the varchar as returns varchar and language SQL. Here what I'm doing is I'm defining the local variable v underscore emp full name as a varchar data type. Here in the execution block, selecting employee first name concatenation with a space the employee last name, and that value I'm passing it to the local variable. Since it is an embedded SQL statement, so the variable will go with the um, colon. Um, so it's a bind variable way to use to get some values from the database table to local variable. And I'm also passing the input parameter as a var class here. And in the return variable, and that has been returning here with some custom message. So let's execute this and see how it goes. So here again, I'm executing this procedure. You can see pro ename is created successfully. And here I'm calling the stored procedure. Employee full name is Tony Stark. Here, basically what we're doing is returning a value from a table by passing employee ID as input and getting the employee full name as an return value from the stored procedure. Okay, let's see another stored procedure. Here, what I'm doing is I'm returning entire record of employee. Okay, so I'm returning all these column values from the employee table through the stored procedure. So for this, I'm creating a procedure pro employee record. So entire record of one employee I'm trying to get by passing the employee ID as an input. I'm returning a table record as an output. So this is how if you want to return a table record or entire table as a return value from the stored procedure, you need to define the returns as a table of and whatever the columns that you need. And then here, what I'm doing is I am dynamically creating a select statement, select star from employee table, where employee code, whatever the input that I'm getting from the stored procedure. So first I constructed a query, and then within the, and I also defined another local variable as a result set, because this variable should capable enough to capture entire record into it. So for that, I have defined a v underscore emp record as a result set, and then that variable is used to assign the query execution result by using execute immediate, and whatever the constructed query will be passed to the execute immediate, and then it will execute this one where class with employee code and whatever the value passed as an argument to this, and that will return one record or multiple records if same employee ID is there for multiple records as well. So, and then when you execute the execute immediate, then the constructed query, that results will be stored into this result set. Again, it can be a single record or multiple records, but my intention here is to return one employee's complete information. That means one record actually. And then that value will be stored into this result set, and I'm returning that result set as a table. And I made sure that the sequence is same as the stable structure so that it will return properly. So let's execute this and see how it goes. Okay. First part is compilation of the procedure, and it created successfully. And then now I'm going to execute this one. Okay. So I'm sorry, the procedure name is wrong. like given. So let's take this one and pass this one. So you can see that I'm returning entire record, all columns as a return value from the stored procedure here. So here, what I'm doing is, earlier I had a where class. Now I'm not having the where class. Okay, though I'm passing the EMP ID, we need not to pass this one, right? So let's remove this one because I wanted to return entire table as an um, return from this stored procedure. Okay, let's execute this one. Only the difference between the earlier one and this one is, earlier we returned only the one record, and here I'm returning entire table. So let's execute this one first. Okay, and give me 1 minute. Let me explain to you how this works. So what I'm doing here is no arguments, but still you need to mention this one, and then returns is mandatory, and I'm returning the table. So the returns is a table type, and define all the columns into that. Language SQL and the declare. Here I defined a variable, local variable, as a result set, and then I have written a select statement here, and that select statement is returning as a table here. It's a simple code. Okay, first let's compile this, and now let me execute this. So no parameter needs to be passed to this because we didn't define the parameter. So let's execute this, and you can see that here entire table has been, you can see that entire table has been displayed here. All 17 records will be displayed here. Okay, procedure, I'm passing source as an input, target table as an input, and the where class, and but three inputs, three arguments as an input. Okay, so this stored procedure, what I'm trying to do is, first thing is, I will create a target table dynamically. Assume that there is no target table and I have a source and I need to copy that source table data into another table. So first I'll create a target table and insert the data into that by not complete the table of the source, but I'll use the where class to it. Okay, let me explain again. Okay, so in this procedure, what we are doing is we are copying the data from one table to another table, and I have a source, but I don't have a target, but I need to create the target table with the same structure of the source, and I need to copy portion of the data from source to the target. So here I'm passing three arguments: source table name, target table name, and where class. First, what I'm doing is I'm creating a target table. So I'm using create or replace. If the table is already there, it will be dropped and again recreated, same like the source table. So these are the two arguments: target table and source table name. Okay, target table name. Let me put this also underscore name. So target table name. Okay, so create or replace table name with the same target table name, whatever we'll pass, like source table name. Assuming here that the source table is already there. Okay, it is exist in the database. And after creation of the target table, then I'm creating another insert script dynamically, insert into target table, selecting from source table, where whatever the where class that I'm passing as an argument to the stored procedure. Okay, so first execute immediate, first create script, whatever dynamically I prepared will be executed and creates the target table here. And the next execute immediate will um, execute the insert statement that dynamically I prepared here. So once these two executed, so what will happen? So you will see uh, new table creates and the data will be inserted into that based on the where class that you have given here. For example, when I'm calling this stored procedure. I'm passing employee as a source table, and here employee 1234 as target table, and with the department code 10. So what that means is this is the where class that I need to apply on this source table. So only 10th department records needs to be copied to employee 1234 table. Okay, so let's execute it and see how it works. Okay, first compilation of the code has been compiled, and then first you go and see employee table is there or not, and employee 1234 table is there or not. Okay, so if we go here, objects, okay, here in the database, if you go and see, you have employee table, employee 2 table. There is no employee 1234 table that we are creating. Or let's put employee 99 table, right? So there is no employee 99 table here. So but when I execute this one, right? Okay, so here there is something wrong. I changed the target table name, argument name, and then I need to change that accordingly. Here I changed. Here also I need to change it. Yeah, I think now we are good. Let's execute this one. And now let's execute this one. Okay, so it is executed successfully, right? And now here when you go and then refresh it, you have got employee 99 table. And when you see here, you have 3 records. But important thing what you need to observe here is that is the department code. All are belongs to department number 10 only, because I have given the where class as department code equal to 10. Let me give 30. So when I execute this one, what will happen is it will again create. So I'll give here different name, rather employee 30. Okay, so it will create employee 30 with the same structure of employee, and it will pass all the department 30 related employees information into this table. Okay, let's execute it and see. Okay, so now go to the database and refresh objects. You can see employee 30 has been created here with the 5 rows, and all belongs to employee number 30 here. Okay, so another stored procedure. Here the same thing only I am doing, but here I'm returning how many records inserted into the new tables. I have created another variable to see the count on the target table. So target table, right? So that count I am storing into the variable. Since it is a select statement, I am using the result set as this thing, and then I'm returning the um, number of records inserted into the target table, right? So let's execute this and see what will happen. Let's execute this code. Okay, and then now let's um, I compile the code, and now I'm executing the stored procedure here. So you can see that 6. So that means employee 20 has been created as a table, and 6 records has been inserted into that. Let's see all the procedure one after another one more time. One is age calculation, passing date of birth, returning the age after using the date function. Second one is returning the employee full name by passing employee ID as input and hitting the database table and getting value and loading into local variable and returning that. It's with a custom message. Third one is returning entire record of one employee, passing employee ID as input and that using in the where class. and the select statement dynamically creating at the declaration section, and then using the execute image, executing it, and capturing that onto the local variable which is defined as a result set, and returning that as an output. Okay, so and then same thing, but instead of where class, now we are doing directly entire table we are returning here. And here source table we are passing, and target table will be created same as source using the where class and the source table. So first creation of the target table, next insertion of the data, and that's what we are doing here. Okay, so target table, if it is there, it will create or replace, so it will replace the table and create again. And with the where class that has been given on the um, insert script, it will insert the records accordingly. Okay, so next one is same thing, but I wanted to know how many records inserted to the targets. For that, I'm doing the count on top of it. Thank you so much.